Let me ask you something personal. Do you ever look down at your arms and feel like they betrayed you overnight? Like one day everything was fine, and then suddenly the skin at the back of your arm started wrinkling, softening, hanging just a little differently than before. I know that feeling. And I want to tell you right now, this is not a sentence. This is a signal. And today I am going to show you exactly what that signal means and what to do about it in just 1 minute a day. My name is Louisa Hart, and what I am about to share with you changed the way I understand skin, not just on the surface, but all the way down to the cellular level. Let us start with the truth that nobody tells you. When you see that loose, wrinkled skin on the back of the arm, what you are actually looking at is not just aging. You are seeing a perfect storm of 3 things happening at the same time. A drop in collagen production, sluggish circulation in that specific area, and a muscle that has slowly stopped giving the skin the support it needs from underneath. That is not a cosmetic issue. That is a biological event. Your body is speaking to you through your skin, and it is time you learned how to listen. Here is what makes this so fascinating. Beneath that surface you can see, beneath that wrinkling, that thin, paper-like texture, there are multiple layers of tissue that are supposed to move freely, stay hydrated, and stay connected to a rich supply of blood and oxygen. But when circulation gets slow in one area for a long time, those layers start to stick together. They dry out from the inside. They lose their springiness, and when that happens, the skin above them has nothing left to hold it up. It does not just sag, it wrinkles, it thins. It takes on that fragile, almost transparent look that feels so uncomfortable when you notice it. And here is the part that excites me, because this is where everything changes. You can reverse that process. Not with a cream, not with an expensive treatment, with 1 intentional minute of your day. Let me walk you through exactly how. The first thing you are going to do is something beautifully simple and almost shockingly effective. For 30 seconds, you are going to use your fingertips to take small pinches on the back of your arm, right in that area where the skin looks most wrinkled and loose. Now, I need you to pay very close attention to this detail because it is the difference between getting results and wasting your time. Keep the pinches small and superficial. Do not grab big folds of skin. Do not squeeze deep into the tissue. Stay on the surface layer and pinch with just your fingertips. When you do this correctly, you will feel something. A little sting, a subtle discomfort that is quite different from what you feel when you press into the muscle below. That sensation is important. It is your skin talking back to you. It is telling you that you are reaching exactly the right layer, the dermis, where the wrinkles actually form, where the fibroblasts live, where collagen is produced. That precise superficial stimulus is what wakes those cells back up. Here is what happens when you do this correctly, and this is the part I find absolutely extraordinary. The small mechanical pressure you create with each pinch sends a signal to the fibroblasts. These are the cells in your skin that manufacture collagen. They do not just respond to nutrients, they respond to physical touch. When you pinch the skin, you are essentially telling those cells, in a language they understand, that this area needs repair. And they listen. They begin to activate. They start producing collagen again. But there is even more happening simultaneously. You are separating superficial layers of tissue that had stuck together over time. You are opening up the tiny capillaries, those microscopic blood vessels that run directly beneath the skin. And you are allowing oxygen and nutrients to flood back into zones that had been sitting in a kind of biological quiet for months, maybe years. That is not maintenance. That is regeneration. Now here is something I want you to burn into your memory because it is one of the most common mistakes I see. More pressure does not mean more results. When you pinch too hard, the skin does not respond by improving. It defends itself. It hardens. It can become irritated. The tissue goes into a protective state rather than an open, receptive one. This method works because of precision, not force. You are not trying to break through something. You are trying to wake something up. Gently, consistently, intelligently. Also think about the texture you feel as you work. You may notice that some areas feel more rigid, denser, almost like there is a slight stiffness under the skin. Those spots are not random. Those are the areas with the most adhesion, the most stagnation, the lowest cellular activity. Think of them as the zones that need you most. As you return to them day after day, you will feel them soften. They will become more mobile, more responsive. That change in texture is one of the first real signs that your skin is beginning to heal. Speed matters too. Do not rush through this. Do not treat it like something to check off a list. Each pinch should be conscious and intentional. Move slowly through the area. Feel for the spots that resist. Spend a little more time on them. You can vary your approach. Sometimes hold the pinch for a full second or two before releasing, rather than doing it quickly. That sustained pressure in denser areas increases the activation time and dramatically improves the local response. Move in different directions as you go, not just top to bottom, but diagonally across the arm. This ensures the skin receives a more complete stimulus and does not adapt to a single repetitive pattern. There is also a thermal factor that people almost never think about, and it makes a significant difference. Cold skin has contracted blood vessels, less flow, less oxygen, a weaker response to everything you are doing. If you can do this step right after a warm shower, you will multiply the effect. The heat naturally dilates the vessels in the skin, primes the tissue, and makes it far more receptive to the stimulation you are about to give it. Warm hands also matter. Before you start, rub your palms together for just a few seconds. Something that small prevents you from creating a temperature contrast that would make the skin tighten up on contact. And while you do this, breathe. I mean it. Deep, intentional breaths while you work on the skin. This is not just motivational advice. When you breathe deeply, you increase systemic oxygenation. That oxygen reaches the tissue you are actively stimulating. It is physiological reinforcement. It makes the same 60 seconds more effective simply by adding conscious breath. After 30 seconds of pinching, you move directly into the second part of the method without pause. Stand facing a wall. Place your palms flat against it, step back slightly, and do slow push-ups with your elbows staying close to your sides, not flaring out, staying tight. Do this for 30 seconds. What you are doing is activating the triceps, the muscle group that sits directly beneath the skin you just stimulated. When that muscle engages, it pumps rich, nutrient-dense blood into the entire posterior area of the arm. Every repetition acts like a pump, pushing fresh resources into the tissue and clearing away metabolic waste at the same time. This is critical because skin does not regenerate in isolation. It needs infrastructure. It needs a support layer underneath that is alive, active, and well-nourished. A skin resting on a dormant, poorly circulated muscle bed is a skin without foundation. When you activate the triceps right after stimulating the skin surface, you create this extraordinary cascade. The skin is open and activated, the fibroblasts are awake, and now a wave of oxygenated blood arrives to fuel everything they need to do. There is a detail inside this step that transforms the exercise. Instead of moving continuously up and down, introduce a small pause, just 1 second at the bottom of the movement, and another 1 second pause at the top. That time under tension increases the pumping effect dramatically. It is the difference between a movement that simply moves blood and one that deeply pressurizes the tissue with nutrients. And while you do the push-ups, stay focused on what you are working on. Mental attention is not a soft skill here. It is neuromuscular reality. When your focus is on the area you are activating, the neural recruitment to that area increases. More muscle fibers engage. The internal effect is greater. Put down your phone. Turn off the noise for 60 seconds. This is your body, and these 60 seconds deserve your full presence. Now I want to talk about something that most people completely overlook, and it quietly sabotages all of this work. Hydration. Not a cream, not a serum, water. Internal hydration is the environment in which all of this regeneration takes place, and without it, the process slows to almost nothing. Here is why. Fibroblasts produce collagen by combining specific proteins and amino acids, but that process requires water at every step. A dehydrated cell loses volume. It loses its ability to exchange nutrients and waste efficiently. It loses its capacity to produce collagen at the rate your skin needs. And what does dehydrated skin look like? Thinner, more fragile, more prone to wrinkling. Even if you do this method perfectly every single day, if you are chronically underhydrated, you are fighting the biology of your own cells. Hydration also directly affects circulation. Blood is largely water. When your fluid levels are good, blood flows more easily, reaches peripheral tissue more efficiently, and carries oxygen and nutrients more effectively to exactly the places we are trying to nourish. This entire method, the pinching, the push-ups, the circulation stimulation, depends on that delivery system working properly. Without adequate hydration, the delivery system is compromised. So drink your water, not as an afterthought, as a fundamental part of this protocol. Let me now talk about something that determines whether any of this actually works long term, and that is consistency over intensity. This is the core principle that so many people misunderstand. One amazing session does nothing lasting. 10 mediocre sessions done every day with intention, those change the skin. Here is why. The signals we are sending to the fibroblasts, the circulation we are stimulating, the layers we are separating, all of these require repetition to become adaptation. Each session tells the body, this area needs attention. The body listens more and more with each repetition, and over time it responds by rebuilding. But if you do it once and skip 3 days and do it again and skip a week, the body never receives a consistent enough signal to commit resources to that area. It treats it like a random event, not a priority. You have to show up every day, not for hours, not for an extreme workout, for 60 seconds. 60 intentional, focused, precise seconds. I want you to understand what the first few weeks actually look like, because this is where most people give up, right before the results begin. At first, you will not see visible changes, but you will feel them. The skin will begin to feel less rough, less rigid in those denser spots, slightly more elastic when you touch it. Those are internal changes, circulation improving, layers softening, cellular activity increasing. The visible changes come after that internal foundation is rebuilt. Fewer wrinkles, better texture, more firmness. But only if you stay in the process long enough to let it happen. Pay attention to the signals your skin gives you along the way. In the first few sessions, some areas may be more sensitive than others. That is not a warning to stop. That is a map of where the skin has been most compromised, most adhered, most lacking in circulation. Those sensitive areas are exactly where you need to keep working. As the days pass, that sensitivity decreases. That is a direct sign of improvement, not a reason to ease off. You may also notice some light redness in the area after the pinching step, a gentle warmth, a feeling that the area is more alive. That is exactly what should be happening. That is blood returning to tissue that had been quiet for too long. Honor those signs. They are not side effects. They are evidence that the process is working. There is also a simple habit you can add throughout your day that prolongs and reinforces everything this 1 minute accomplishes. When you are walking, standing in line, waiting for anything, gently move your arm backward. Just that motion, arm back. It improves circulation in the posterior area of the arm, prevents the tissue from becoming stagnant again after your morning session, and continuously signals to the body that this area is active. Most people spend the entire day with their arms forward, on a keyboard, holding a phone, carrying things. That posture compresses the posterior arm and cuts off circulation. Breaking that pattern a few times a day costs you nothing and protects the work you have already done. I also want you to think about the state you bring to this practice. Are you rushing? Are you distracted? Are you doing it mechanically, waiting for it to be over? Because the skin does not respond to obligation. It responds to the quality of the stimulus. When you are present, when you are moving with intention and awareness, every pinch lands differently. Every push-up fires differently. You are not just going through a motion, you are having a conversation with your biology. And the clearer and more intentional that conversation, the faster and more profound the response. When you finish your 60 seconds, do not just walk away. Run your open hand gently over the area, a smooth, sweeping pass that helps redistribute the increased blood flow and allows the tissue to settle after the stimulus. Then stay on your feet for a few minutes. Do not sit down immediately. Keep moving. That small extension of activity sustains the circulation you just worked to create and allows the benefits of that 1 minute to echo outward into the next several minutes of your day. Here is what I want you to understand above everything else. The skin you have right now is not a verdict. It is a starting point. Your fibroblasts are still there. Your capillaries can still open. Your tissue can still reorganize. The biology of regeneration does not have an expiration date. What it needs is the right stimulus, delivered consistently with enough internal support, hydration, circulation, muscle activation, to actually respond. This method provides all of that in 60 seconds, every single day. You are not fighting your age when you do this. You are communicating with your body. You are reminding it that this area matters, that it deserves resources, that it is worth healing. And the body, given the right signal consistently enough, almost always responds. So start today, not tomorrow, not after you finish whatever else is on your list. Right now, after this, put your fingertips on the back of your arm and begin. Small pinches, 30 seconds. Then the wall push-ups, 30 more seconds, 1 minute. That is all it takes to begin something that, over weeks and months, will quietly and profoundly change what you see when you look at your arms. The skin is not done with you, and you are not done with it. I am Louisa Hart, and I will see you in the next